program. My name is Kaya. I'm a yoga instructor. Trained in Hatha Yoga, but practice and instruct many things. So I'm going to be taking you through a few basics of the practice. So starting with a yin practice today, it'll be between 20 and 30 minutes. So you can grab anything that's going to make you comfortable. We're not going to be doing anything crazy today. It's going to be mainly floor based, and we're going to be holding each position for at least 2 minutes. So you can have your socks on or off. I personally prefer to have them off. You can wear hoodies, jumpers. Just make sure you're comfortable and are able to stay warm enough, because we won't be doing too much dynamic movement today. So we're going to start out lying down flat on our back. So this is what we call Shavasana. And traditional Shavasana is where we have our feet around about 2 feet away from one another. Hands 1 foot away from the torso and palms facing upwards and the eyes closed. So just coming here, if you don't have any lower back issues, you can have the knees bent, the feet flat, and the knees resting together. And we'll just take these first few moments just to arrive here. So just becoming aware of your physical surroundings. Noticing your external environment, any sounds, any people around. Noticing the connection between you and the earth and how it feels just to be held here. Being able to surrender your entire body weight to the earth. Noticing your internal environment, any thoughts or emotions present. Anything that you may need to work with or around today. So we're not trying to reach out for anything here. Yin is all about yielding and allowing ourselves to be as we are in the moment. So just noticing what is present for you. And then we'll gently guide the awareness inwards towards the breath. Just noticing how your breath feels today and tuning into the subtle sensations of your breathing. How deep is the breath? How far into the body can you feel your breath travel? And perhaps you want to come into a visualization as you inhale. Visualize filling up the whole body from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head. As you exhale, visualize emptying the whole body. Each breath regenerating the cells and releasing whatever it is that's not serving you in this moment. gently begin to bring some movement into the body, within the fingers, the toes. Slowly turning the head from side to side. Inhale, reach the hands upwards towards the sky. Exhale, reach behind you, take a full body stretch, spreading the fingers and the toes. And exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Perhaps rocking side to side, backwards and forwards. Now we'll place one hand over each knee. Separate the knees and draw two big circles, just bringing some movement to the hips. And moving in the opposite direction. Bringing the knees together. And however's comfortable for you, find your way up to a seated position. So we started these sessions focusing on the yin aspect of yoga. A lot of this aspect is lost in yoga that's been brought over to the West, because we're a lot more focused on the yang element, like the physical improvement. Which is why you don't really have much stillness in yoga these days unless you go to a yin class, and they are popping up more now because people have recognised the importance of that. A lot of us adults have lost the ability to sit comfortably with a straight back, and it's something that we spend so often doing, but without intention, we end up messing with our posture because we're not actively lifting up the spine, and we're rounding the shoulders. A lot of us sat over computers or doing a lot of driving. So this is arguably the most important element of your practice. Be that a yoga practice or anything else that you do. Being able to sit down energetically helps to keep you grounded, and as well, obviously, got the physical benefits of that as well. So it takes a few things. It's not just the openness of your hips. It also takes knee flexibility, ankle flexibility, core strength, back strength. They're the main things that go into being able to sit comfortably. So that's what we're going to work on today. So we're going to go through a few postures. Again, as I said, we're going to hold them for at least 2 minutes. It's going to really train your mind to be still, which again is another important element, because in our society we're always needing to be doing things and keeping busy. There's so many benefits to this, and I hope you get to experience that through this session. So the first one we're going to start out in is butterfly. So all we're going to do is bring the soles of the feet together, allow your knees to come wide. Oh, before we move on, actually, you can use props. So if sitting on the floor is really uncomfortable for you, you can bring something underneath your hips to bring some height there. You may have yoga blocks there, you may have cushions, rolled up towels or blankets, and that's just going to alleviate some of the pressure on your hips. If you are really struggling already, I'd suggest just going to grab a cushion or something to sit on that will help you throughout this practice. So whenever you're ready, bring the soles of the feet together. You don't have to drag the heels all the way into the hips. If you are familiar with this practice and you always try and go all the way to your maximum range, maybe try having the feet further away and work with the joints in a different range today. So allow your knees to fall wide. You can use your hands to adjust your glute flesh to widen your seat as well. As we inhale, we'll lift up the chest. As we exhale, we're going to fold over. Allow the forehead to relax towards the feet and the shoulders to round. We're going to be staying here for 3 minutes. Whatever position you find yourself in doesn't have to be your final position. Know that you can always adjust as necessary. So I've done the session today without props because you don't need them. You can do the whole session without them. They're optional for your comfort. If you do have them, you may want to put them under your knees as well. You can bring them up towards your forehead to rest there. But most of all, we want to be comfortable. We want to be able to feel the muscles disengaging. So it's what it is. It's a yin practice, not a yang practice. So it's passive, you know. So allow the head to relax, the shoulders to round, the breathing to remain deep. And just check in. You're holding on to any unnecessary tension in the hips in particular. Maybe in the feet, the shoulders, or the face. And just see if you can completely let go of that. Recognize where you feel this. Where do you feel the tension? And we use the breath to work with that. So, for example, if you're feeling any tension in your lower spine, you can hold the area in your awareness, and as you inhale, guide the breath into that area and visualize an expansion around the sensation that you're feeling, allowing space for it. As you exhale, visualizing a release, relaxing of the body. So often we want to tense and constrict around pain and discomfort, but all that does is hinder the body from healing, from becoming stronger or more flexible. Going into our final minute here. And know that it's normal for the mind to wander, especially during moments of stillness. So it doesn't matter how many times the mind may wander throughout your practice or throughout your day, the process is always the same. Just notice where the mind goes, and with kindness, escort the awareness back to your breath. Knowing that your breath is always there for you to use as your anchor to the present moment, aiding in your focus, relaxation, and nourishment of the cells. Gently press the palms into the ground, walk them back up towards the hips and lift up the body. Taking any movement you need to here to feel relief. We're going to go into another forwards fold here. So bringing the right leg out wide. I'm going to bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the thigh. Shift the hips forwards, so your left knee is pointing to the outside. I'm going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist, facing down the right leg, and exhale, fold. So go as far as your body allows first. Allow the head to drop, the shoulders to round once again. Intentionally keep that left hip and left knee grounded. If this is too much for you, you can bend the knee. If you do want to go further, you can walk the hands towards the foot and maybe grab a hold of the foot. So don't try to go all the way straight away. Allow the body to open up at its own time. Even if your body is naturally quite open, or if you do already have a practice, a yoga practice or flexibility practice within your lifestyle, the body changes day to day. especially with women and the fluctuations within our hormones. So give yourself time. We always want to work with today's body, not yesterday's or last week's or last year's or next year's. It's just always today's body. Again, just recognize where you feel this and direct your breath there. If you direct your breath into a particular area, you also are directing energy into that area. It's also aiding in your healing. Yin also works with your meridian lines, which are your energy channels throughout the body. So each pose you come into, outside of what you feel on a physical level, there's a lot of energetic work going on. This one here stimulates the kidneys as well as the gallbladder. Into our final few breaths. Gently press into the palms, lifting up the body. Moving slowly here. We don't want to shock the body as we come out of these poses. Now whenever you're ready, we're going to change sides, so the left leg extends out to the side. Sole of the right foot on the inside of the thigh, right knee also pointing out to the side. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist, face the same direction as the left leg, and exhale and fold. Again, take it slow. You may find that one side of your body feels different to the other. Allow space for that. Practices like this really do challenge the ego. Notice if you are trying to force yourself into anything. And just remember that you can't win yin, you can't win yoga in trying to do so. You're actually taking yourself away from the essence of the practice. Letting go of that striving. As we strive, we build tension in the mind and the body. This helps to bring us back to balance. Here's our final few breaths here. And gently press into the palms, lift the body up. Again, take whatever movement you need to loosen up. And as we've spent a fair amount of time with the hips in flexion, we're going to take them into an extension through a back bend. So just a gentle one. So we're going to come and lie on our front in Sphinx pose. So elbows are underneath the shoulders, forearms parallel. Pointing the toes back, we're rolling the shoulders back and lifting the chin and chest. This is a really important pose to do at least once a day, especially if you do spend a lot of time seated. The hip flexors can become tight, and that leads to lower back issues, hip issues, poor posture. And as the whole body is a chain, it can lead to knee problems, foot problems. I've had issues in my hip that have led to issues in my shoulder and my neck. So right here we're just counterbalancing all of the forwards fold we've been doing. Counterbalancing the time that we spend sat with the hips in flexion. Back bends such as this are also heart openers. So maybe you want to place your attention on your heart space and visualize the breath going into that area, expanding around the heart as you inhale and softening as you exhale. There's no need to crane the neck too much here, just have the neck long. In yin, we're working with the joints. You may be wondering why we don't warm up before going into these long holds, and that's for a number of reasons. So when the muscles are warm and you come into a stretch, the energy is sent to the more superficial layers of your muscles. When the muscles are cool and you come into a stretch, well, in yin we call it more of a stress, so it's a little bit less intense. We're placing gentle stress upon the muscles. But doing that while the muscles are cold allows the energy to penetrate deeper into your muscle tissues and into the joints, the more plastic tissues of our body, the ones that don't stretch quite as much. So the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia, which is a really thin layer of membrane that surrounds all of the cells. Your yang exercises such as active stuff, active stretching as well, doesn't allow us to get quite as deep as yin allows us to get. I'm just going to take a couple more breaths here. Let's make them the deepest breaths we've taken today. Slide the right hand inwards so it's underneath the chin. Left hand comes on top of it. Bring your elbows out wide and rest your first eye on top of your hands. Bring the big toes together. Allow the heels to fall wide. Just completely relax here. We'll gently slide the hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up and come to sit on the heels. So we're just going to finish off with a couple of core exercises that will help build up the muscles around your trunk, which are also all really important to be able to sit straight for long periods of time. For example, when you're meditating and when you just start doing your work, it's just going to help protect your posture. So we're going to come to lie down once again. Have the hands next to the body. First off, let's bend the legs, so bring your feet flat. Draw your belly button in, pressing your lower spine towards the ground. You want to minimise that space between your lower back and the earth. Now automatically that's going to engage your core there. From here we're going to bring the legs up, flex the feet so you're stretching up through your heels, so you should already feel it opening down the back of your legs as well. You want to keep that position, keep the belly button drawn in. And as we inhale, we're going to drop the legs towards the ground. If you can, hover the feet about an inch off the ground. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Lovely, keep going. We're going to go for 10 of these. If you do find your lower back lifts, which it naturally will, especially for women with the curvature of our bodies, if you find your back lifts and you can't control the descending of your legs, you've got a few options. You can bring the hands underneath the hips for some extra support. You can bend the knees slightly and instead tap the ground with the toes. Or you can just reduce the range to which you move. So if you get to here and you find your muscles disengage, just come back up from there and work on strengthening your core, your abdominal muscles in that range. Lovely. And when you've done 10, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a warm embrace. And then we're going to bring the arms out wide, knees over the hips, and lift up your feet so your shins are parallel to the ground. Keeping the knees together and again the belly button drawn in. You want to keep that engagement throughout these exercises. Inhale, exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Inhale back to centre and exhale over to the right. Inhale back to centre, exhale to the left, and just keep going following the rhythm of your own breathing. You might feel some really satisfying clicks, I don't know if you just heard mine. But in twisting, we're also ringing the spine of anything that it's not needing, anything that it doesn't need. With this one, we're strengthening up the transverse abdominals, the obliques, pretty much all the muscles in the trunk. So again, we're going to go for 10. And when you've done 10, hug the knees in to the chest. Final one we're going to do here is to work the glutes. So the core's not only your abdominal muscles, it's also the muscle groups that attach to your abdominals. So your glutes, your shoulders, certain neck muscles. So we're going to do some hip bridges. So feet come flat again underneath the hips. Draw that belly button in, peel the spine off the ground, leading with the tailbone, squeezing the glutes or the buttock muscles together at the top. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Lovely. Again, we'll go for 10. Aiming to distribute the weight evenly across the whole of the sole of your foot. So notice if the knees want to come in towards each other or fall away. Or if you find yourself pressing more into the heels or more into the balls of the feet, you want to keep that weight even. When you've done 10, just relax. Coming back into Shavasana where we began. And we'll finish there. So those exercises, you can do 3 rounds, you can do more than that. I recommend doing them daily. And all the stretching, the yin poses will really help you to open up the body so you can feel comfortable in a seated position. I could go on for much longer, but we're on a time limit, so I hope that helped. And yeah, enjoy your practice. Thank you.